Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be trying the new Gemini palettes from Nomad Cosmetics. So I bought both the original Gemini in its revamped version and the new Gemini 2. And I'm really excited to try these. I've wanted this palette for a very long time, but it's been out of stock forever. And this palette just looks so beautiful, especially in person. I can't wait to try these. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I am a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup with a soft spot for indie makeup and colorful makeup. And I have new content every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. So like I said, I bought both of these last week when they launched, and I bought directly from Melt because I think these retail for $56 normally each, but they had a launch day bundle that was $80 for both, so more than 20% of a savings. I don't remember the actual percentage right now because it's Friday and it's been a long week, but it was too good of a deal not to get both from Melt. I was originally going to buy them from Sephora because of the Sephora sale, but this ended up being a better deal. So I'm really excited to try these. I want to see if this lives up to the hype, and I want to see how this compares, especially since it's kind of red and there's a lot of reds in their holiday palettes. I want to see if it's as good. So these are the outer boxes. They're really pretty. They're very nicely textured. Typical Melt kind of patterns made in the United States. A 12-month shelf life and 18.8 grams of product per. I like that the details, like when it's in the box, the roses and stuff that are on the outside continue like seamlessly into the inside of the box. Like it's a pointless detail, but a detail I appreciate. So this is the new revamped Gemini palette, and this is the Gemini 2. I don't have the original Gemini, so I can't do a comparison for you, but I think these look beautiful side by side. And this is like my favorite kind of color story. You've got mustardy neutral tones here and then olive greens, which are my favorite. I am an olive, I love them. I've wanted this for a long time. I have a couple similar palettes, like I have the Kaleidos Flower Punk, which does have some of these kind of shades in it, but then it's like turquoise and pink over here. So I don't have anything that is this exact color story. And I don't know if I have a dupe for this shade from everything I've seen. I tried to find dupes for it, and I have some similar shades, but nothing that's actually a dupe for Mochi. And then Gemini 2 is rosy tones, and then again greens. I also like these are very different. This is like a grayish olive, and this is like a brown with a little bit of a green in it, and then this is like a really deep olive shimmer. So this is really beautiful. I can't wait to try this. It's so much prettier in person, and like the shimmer Mateo is so pretty. So I think I do love green, and I might try some of these greens, but I want to focus on the rosy tones, and then I want to try the greens from the original Gemini. So I think I'm going to do one on each eye. I'm going to swatch them, and then I'm going to do one on each eye because I posted to my community tab the picture when I got these in the mail before I went to the grocery store and stuff, and asked focus on this or try both, and I think I got 5 comments that said try both and 1 comment that said focus on Gemini 2. So sorry to that person, but I'm gonna try both. So I'll do one look on each eye, and I can do other videos if people are interested as well. So I'm gonna swatch on my arm. I have no product, no primer, nothing on. I just took my watch off, and I do have a medium olive skin, so especially shades greens and mustards can look a little different on me than on other people because an olive undertone is basically a blue undertone with a yellow overtone. So things can look a little different. So I want to see what they'll look like on my skin tone. I'll wash that off, swatch Gemini 2, and then get into eye looks, hopefully before the sun goes away. So the first shade is Luna, which is just a nice creamy shade. This is like a highlighter shade, or I guess I could use this as like a transition shade because this is a little lighter than my skin tone, but I'm gonna do the shimmers last. And then we've got Lorelei, which is a mustard. That's beautiful. Lorelei will always make me think of Lorelei Gilmore. That's like a mustard brown. So that's like mustard. This is mustard brown. This is polka dot. I might be able to swatch both in one go, we'll see. Yeah, the first shade blends into my skin basically. That's really pretty. And then we've got the shade Cupcake, which is the darkest brown, kind of chocolate brown. And then I'm gonna do Leo. I'm gonna do the black and the shimmers last. Leo is really pretty green and Fire OG. That's beautiful. That's a really nice brown. Leo's really pretty. Didn't swatch the best, but I don't rely on swatches to tell me how a shadow is going to perform. I do that just for color. Especially if you are, one of the things I did a lot before and I still do, is search for people who are around my skin tone, try to find them swatching things to see if they'll work, because bronzers and things like that are a pain. So then we've got Mochi, and then I'll do Bonnie, the black shade. It's a very pigmented black. Mochi is one of the shades that I really wanted, because it's kind of mustard, but kind of olive at the same time. Yeah, that's beautiful. And then Bonnie is the black. Very nice black. I will definitely use that today, make a nice smoky eye. And then Gemini feels like a thick shimmer, and Goals also feels a thick, but not as thick. Gemini is beautiful. That's very reflective. Kind of foiled because it's so thick. And then Goals is definitely a little thinner, but still really beautiful. So I love this. This is like, this and Natasha Denona Gold are like dream color stories for me. My dream neutrals. Okay. I would swatch on this arm, but I've got a bunch of tattoos on this side, so also I don't think I can swatch with my left hand very well. Okay, so I'm gonna wash this off and be right back to swatch Gemini 2. So I know Melt has a history of being inconsistent. I haven't experienced that myself, thankfully, but I haven't tried very much. So I have the Vita palette, which is the same size as this, and I really like that palette. And then I wish I had the other half. Especially because they make a sugar skull when you put them together, and I'm Mexican American and have a sugar skull on my body. I just really want that. But I wanted to see if these are, I know Gemini has been historically one that people really like, so I'm hoping that this is also really good quality. I feel like Melt has a history of doing reds well, so on this side, I also like that these could be blushes. I'm wearing Melt blush today. I'm wearing the shade Polished in the cream blush lights. I got this from the Sephora sale because I've wanted this one for a long time. I have two other ones, love them. And this is one of two other shades that I really wanted. I almost bought the bundle from the Melt website, but a couple of the lighter shades I don't think I'd really wear, so I bought the new Trixie cream blushes instead. So here we've got Bella, which is a pale, kind of peachy shade. Ladylike, pretty, just a little bit darker and a little less peachy. And then we've got Sweetheart, ruining the embossings, and that's a beautiful rosy shade. They feel really nice. So that's a really nice peach. Light peaches don't show up on my skin very well most of the time. That's really pretty. A little warmer, like brown mixed in there. That's a rose. So yeah, it's like peach brown rose so far. And then we've got the next couple shades. Another rose. We've got Lovesick and LX Queen. That's really pretty. I will definitely use that today. That's beautiful. Also beautiful. a little more berry. That's really pretty. There's a bit of a purple undertone to that. And then I'm gonna do the two greeny shades, and then I'll do the two shimmers. So we've got Boy Mum and Almond Eyes, which feels very soft. So Boy Mum is the darkest. Just a nice dark brown. We've got this green. I love that green. That is my favorite kind of olive. I think these two will pair really nicely with the original Gemini. And then Schmood, feels very thick and creamy. And Mateo. Mateo is like a blackened olive shimmer. It's really pretty. Schmood and Mateo. Those are really pigmented. Those are really nice. Those have a nice formula to them. We'll see how they appear on the eyes, but in swatching, they feel very high quality. So that is Gemini 2. I really like this. I am excited to try this. I'm gonna try this side first, or try this palette first, and then I'll do Gemini 1 on this side. So I'm gonna go wash this off and get started. The other thing that I got in the Sephora sale was one of their new eyeliners. I got the olive shade because it's this really pretty yellow olive, kind of like the shade of Mochi. And I just don't have another eyeliner like this, and I just had to get this. I did swatch this already, and it's so creamy. I might try this today. Let's start with Gemini 1. So I primed with my Urban Decay eye primer, and I've got my rougher brushes here. I'm gonna take, really need to clean them. They've been cleaned off, but some of them have a little bit of a stain from a previous shadow. So I'm gonna take Bella. I wanna see how Bella looks on the eye. So I'm gonna take a little bit of Bella, picks up nicely. I always tap off my brush. And then I think, because that mirror is so tiny, I'm gonna use my Trixie mirror. And I'm just gonna place that right here. I'm gonna do a two-tone crease, I think. Bella here, and then the next shade, Ladylike, out here. That's really pretty. It actually shows up on my skin, which is always a concern I have. Just using the same brush, I picked up a little bit of Ladylike, and I'm gonna place that out here. I just wanna see how the two look side by side. So it's definitely, Ladylike is a little more subdued, less of a bright peach. So far, this seems to be building and blending beautifully. I'm going in very light-handed, like literally tiny tap off, just because I don't want fallout and I don't know how they'll perform. So I don't like to swirl or jam my brush in too much. Okay, so I really like that. This is definitely like more subtle peach, but I think those look really nice. So I could keep, so next I'm gonna take a tiny bit of Sweetheart and see how that layers in. A little bit of Kick Up in the Pan, and I'm just gonna place that in the entire crease. That's really pretty. It's a little pink, nice rose. I mean, it was a rosy tone. Blending into those nicely, and I think it's making that first shade, Bella, pop even more. So if you want it to be a little more neutral, I would start with Ladylike versus Bella. And then I'm just taking a little bit more of the next shade, and I'm gonna put that right here into my crease as well. Yeah, and that adds just a little bit more depth. There's no skipping. I sometimes get skipping right here, but I don't have any from any of these. These are working beautifully. And then I'm just gonna go back in with that first brush and blend everything together a little bit. Okay, so I really wanna try Almond Eyes, and I'm gonna do mostly greens over here, but I'm gonna put that on my lower lash line. it's gonna be pretty smoky, and then build up some of those darker reds up here and tie everything together. So I've got almond eyes on the tip of this shader brush, and I'm just gonna lightly run that right here. This is the kind of shade I would just pack on my lid for like a one and done green smoky eye. Maybe blend out the edges by itself, or like use Ladylike or one of the shades from the first Gemini. That's really pretty. I like that. So I want to see what this LX Queen shade looks like. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that on this tiny brush and pack that on the outer B. That's really pigmented and really pretty, but I want to see how well it blends. So I'm gonna pack right here and then blend into the crease a little bit. This is really pigmented and really pretty. And I've built up quite a few shades, so these are all layering really nicely, which is something I appreciate. That was one of the things I struggled with when I did my ColourPop avatar video recently, is I couldn't even get like 2 shades to layer. And then using this large pencil brush, I'm gonna pick up Boy Mum, which is the darkest shade, that like dark brown. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that. And I'm gonna connect the upper lash and lower lash with this by stamping it right here and blending it down a little. And even that is distinctive against the other shade. Okay, so that got very dark and smoky, which is what I wanted. And I'm gonna take my concealer brush that still has some concealer on it, and I'm just gonna tidy up the edges by stamping right here and kind of adding back in that lip that I like. Full gradient. These are working wonderfully. And then you could go monochromatic and use Schmood, but I think I want to try Mateo and add in that green. So I'm gonna pick up some of Mateo. These are both pretty dark, so I'll probably grab something brighter from my inner corner. And I'm gonna place that all over the lid. This is beautiful. I might even take the shade Gemini from the other palette and blend that into the inner part of the lid. Okay, so this looks beautiful. Was really easy to do as well. I'm gonna go off camera and add mascara and stuff in an inner corner pop, and then I'll be back to do the other side. Okay, so I'm back. I added my House Labs liner and some mascara, and then I put my highlighter on my inner corner. This is the House Labs one that I use all the time. I love this. I love the way the green and the rosy tones look next to each other. It worked beautifully. So here's hoping that Gemini 1 also works beautifully. So I do want to stick with the green shades because they're green and blue are my favorites. So I'm gonna start with Mochi, and I'm just gonna work my way across, I think. Tap off the excess, and I'm gonna put Mochi in my crease. I like that they have a lighter shade that's kind of like this kind of olive, like a yellow olive, so that you can do an olive look without having to use like a yellow or a brown as the transition. I'm just building up a little bit more. It looks really nice. That's a really interesting shade. I do not have a dupe for this. For the sake of trying it, I picked up the shade Lorelei, which is the mustard, and I'm gonna put that on the lower lash line. And you can definitely see it's more yellow and warmer than Mochi. And then I'm gonna pick up the shade Fire OG on the other little fluffy brush I was using. I cleaned off everything. And I'm gonna put that on the outer V and into the crease. That's really pretty. And this look that I'm doing is probably similar to what a lot of people have done in the past with this palette, but whatever. Lets me try my favorite shades. I will say I don't think Gemini's, I think there's like a set number of couple looks you're gonna get with it, but I don't mind that because these are my favorite tones. So if they work well, then it's worth it. Even if you're doing basically the same look multiple times, which I do all the time. I don't mind repeating looks. So they're blending together nicely. There's a little bit of skipping right here, but that could also be that this primer set a little too long. So I'm just going in with a little bit more. Okay, so I'm liking the way this is looking, and I'm gonna pick up the shade Leo with another small brush. It's a little less fluffy than the last one. I'm gonna pack that on the outer V. A little more. Leo's a little darker than Fire OG and a little less olive. What's funny is shades like Mochi looks really cool on my eyes, love it, cannot wear it as a shirt. Brings out all the olive in my skin and I just look like I have jaundice. But for some reason as an eyeshadow, these shades work. Okay. Leo looks really pigmented and pretty right there. There's no patchiness. And then with another one of these Refer 26, I have a couple of them now. I'm gonna pick up Bonnie, the black, and I'm gonna stamp that on the outer V and bring it down here to tie everything together. That's really pretty. That's a nice black. If you ever worry that you got too much of a black or a really dark shade like that, just take what, after you stamp on what you want, wipe off the rest on like a microfiber towel or something, or a color switch, and then go back in to blend. That way you're not taking the excess that's still in the brush and blending it everywhere. I think I need to go back in with a little bit more Bonnie right there because it's so pigmented it kind of overtook it. And then with that first brush again, I'm just making sure the edges look really nice. I did pick up just a little bit more Bonnie, and I'm just gonna smudge the two together. And I think I wanna do goals and Gemini on the lid. So I'm gonna take a little bit more glitter glue and put that on the lid. And then with a clean 21 brush, I have multiple of these now. I'm tempted to buy even more. I'm gonna pick up Gemini, or I'm gonna pick Goals up first, the green. And it's picking up okay on a brush. A brand new brush that's never been used. And I'm gonna place that out here. So it's like, it's not as olive as this. This is like smoky olive. This is like green with like a brighter green flip. And then I'm just gonna flip the brush over, pick up a little bit of Gemini. Gemini is a little, definitely more flaky. And I'm gonna place that right here. I think Gemini definitely could use some spray. So I'm actually gonna pick up some Gemini. I think Gemini is one of those shadows that people don't like from Melt. That like chunkier formula. And then sprayed, it worked nicely. I think directly over glitter glue or with a finger it would work well too. And I use my finger pretty regularly, so I'm okay with that. Okay, so that looks really nice. I really like this. And I do want to try out this eyeliner, and it's, I think, perfect to go with this eye. So I'm gonna put this in my waterline. Yeah, that's creamy. I think I want to get some more shades of this. Such a unique shade. It's like mochi in an eyeliner. Okay, I'm gonna go add mascara and stuff to this side as well, and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back with the finished look. I went ahead and just added the House Labs liner and my Pat McGrath mascara like normal. And then because I have this olive on my waterline here, I put my House Labs Antique Rose on this side, and I thought it paired nicely with the rose tones. Also, I got the Rephr eyelash curler in my recent order because of their sale, and which I think is still going on, and it is great. So much better than the cheap one I bought at like Target or Ulta or whatever, you know, 2 years ago. This doesn't pinch at all. This is great, and at 40% off, highly recommend. Because I think it ended up being like $16, which is cheaper than like the nicer ones that Target and Ulta have. So I think, yeah, that was a good purchase on my end. And then I went ahead and added some more lip gloss. But I love both of these. I think Gemini 2 might have blended a little bit easier than Gemini 1, but Gemini 1 blended really nicely. I think that has to do with greens and the pigment that greens are, but I love both of these. I think the shade Gemini, the shimmer, would look really nice with my finger all over the lid because it swatched really beautifully, just kind of textured, which I don't mind. I really like both of these. I will keep playing with these. I think playing with them a lot. I think these are going to be my 2 new go-tos for a little while. So I will keep you posted, but I think if you were interested in these, I think they're good quality. I think this is the same good quality as the holiday palette that I have. So especially this look is everything. I'm gonna redo this look again soon on both eyes to actually like wear. So let me know in the comments below what you think of the 2 looks. If you're thinking about picking these up, I believe they are still doing the sale on their website, so the bundle might still be available, but also Schmood 20 will save you an additional amount on top of that, I think 20%, if you're not Rouge. But if you are Rouge, you can get them at Sephora now, and then I think you can even get them in person. So let me know if you decide to pick up either of these. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video.